Hey, how you doing? This is John. Welcome to John's Long Box. Today we're looking at Jonah Hex number 8. This is 35 cents. I don't know exactly what year it is. We'll find out when we go inside. But I did the first half of this story, and this is the second half. So this is the second half of the origin of Jonah Hex. I talked many times that as a kid, I wasn't interested in Western comics. And it wasn't because I didn't like Westerns. On contraire, I did like Westerns. I watched a lot of Western movies with my dad. I enjoyed Westerns. But I just thought that the comic book medium was not the proper medium for Westerns. Since Westerns didn't require fantastic laser beams and giant robots, stuff like that, the television and movies was perfect for Westerns. And I felt the same thing about war movies. Whereas comic books have an unlimited special effects budget. For a comic book to have a Western, as a kid, I'm thinking that it was kind of like a waste of the medium because, like, you know, you can have people shooting laser beams and flying around and teleporting and whatever because it's one person's imagination, really. So I you know, when it came to comic books, I wanted superheroes. I didn't even want sci-fi, you know, so I avoided war. I avoided Westerns, but I've since changed my mind. And I will say that these Jonah Hex comics are, to my way of thinking, my opinion, the best DC comics of this time period, without a doubt. You know, DC to me, let's take a look. 1970, does that say 75? Oh, 78. Okay, so this is 1978. This is before the crisis. So this is kind of like goofy. You know, I would call this like childish DC. That, you know, that's me being mean. But I wasn't a big fan of pre-crisis DC. But let's look at the Penguin and the Cuckoos. This is why I hate the Penguin, because he enjoys fruit pies. Not only does he enjoy fruit pies, but he got tricked by fruit pies. So you're a jerk. But look at this. Look at that splash page. Okay, let's look at the credits over here. Script by Michael Fleischer. I'm growing into a Michael Fleischer fanboy. I'm looking for Michael Fleischer comics. I didn't realize how much I enjoyed his stuff until I started reading these. Art by Ernie Chan, Vincent Alcazar. Just amazing color by Liz Barub. Lettering by Ben Oda, and editor Larry Hama. So this is Larry Hama's first issue on Jonah Hex as an editor. I think, and I'm probably wrong, I think this is his start in comics as an editor. But, you know, someone will correct me, I'm sure. But look at this splash page. So Jonah Hex is riding off into the west. And what is he doing? He's rethinking his origin. So you see these wavy lines. This is going back in the past. So in the past, for those of you who didn't see the first, my first showcase with the issue before this, Jonah was a poor kid. You know, his father was a drunk, poor as in like, you know, like, yeah, well, he was also money-wise poor, but his father was a jerk. And what did his father do? His father sold him to a tribe of Indians for booze. Because, you know, his father was such a drunk, he couldn't pay for it. So he sold him for a night with some Indian hookers and some booze. And poor, like, teenage Jonah Hex, he's like, Dad, where you going? And then Jonah proved, you know, he's a hero. You know, we wouldn't be reading the Jonah Hex comic if he wasn't a hero. As a slave, the chieftain got attacked by a wolf. Nobody else wanted to shoot the wolf because the wolf was attacking the chieftain. They were afraid they were going to miss and hurt the chieftain. Jonah runs in with a knife, kills the wolf or panther, whatever that is, wild animal. So now the chief is like, oh my God, this guy's awesome. So he adopts him. So now he's the second son. The first son, the older son, is jealous. You know, he's like, he showed me up. He's a white guy. You know, racism. You know. So he does everything he can to trip Jonah up. And then they're going on a raid. They're going to steal horses from the other because the other Indians, the Apaches, stole some horses from them. So they're going to steal 3 horses as payment. So they're going off. And as they're stealing the horses, the real son of the Apaches kicks Jonah unconscious and he gets captured by the Apaches. So now they're tying him up and they're going to torture him. They're going to torture when these people come raiding and guy just kills all the Indians and sets Jonah free. He's like, you can't just kill. And then Jonah, he's a good guy. He's like, you can't just kill them all. He's like, I just saved you. You know, I saved a white guy and now you're telling me what to do. So they shoot Jonah. And he wakes up, old timer. saves him. So this poor kid, it's a werewolf over here. So now he's living with this old guy. So this is literally the first time in Jonah's life that he's being treated with kindness. This old miner 49er kind of guy is just nursed him back to health, and now Jonah's like working off the debt, and not out of like, you owe me, kid. He's just a kindly old guy. Jonah's like, I might as well make myself useful. This guy is really helping me. And now Jonah's fighting buffaloes. He becomes an expert tracker. So the army is using him to they're paying him money to get like fugitives and people who escaped justice. Remember, he grew up with the Indians, so he's like a good tracker. He knows like Indian skills, and he knows white man skills. So he's got the best of both worlds, and he's making a life for himself. Now he joins the Civil War on the Confederate side. And I love that's problematic today. But he as he said, he was defending his homeland. The North invaded. He's fighting. And let me say a little side now that's probably going to annoy people, but I've never been one to shut my mouth. I'm a history major, and one of the things we did is I took a class on American history in college. And one of the things that we were assigned was a book written by written by Union soldiers and Confederate soldiers, in the Civil War. So it's Civil War letters bound. And one of them, I can't remember the general's name, but first thing, the most amazing thing about these letters is these were supposed to be like illiterate, like hillbillies from out, both sides had hillbillies at, the North and the South. So they were supposed to be dumb, illiterate hillbillies. And they wrote letters that were like, greetings, the dawn has awoken me a stirring, and I needed to put pen in hand to, these letters would shame anybody today, myself included, But anyway, one of the letters was a general, and he was talking about he captured a Confederate soldier, and they're in a prisoner of war camp, and he's talking to his prisoner, this private on the Confederate side, and he's saying, "Why are you fighting? What? You don't have any slaves. What's going on? Like, why are you fighting us? We're the good guys," kind of thing. I'm paraphrasing, and the Confederate soldier goes, "Why am I fighting? You guys invaded." And right then and there, the general was like, he had a newfound respect for these because, the North did invade. And I that changed my mind, because at that point, I was just like, it was good guys versus bad guys, slavery, everybody in the South was a bad, horrible, super bad plus person. And now I'm like, the average person didn't have slaves. The average person, was just a guy defending their home, So, the Civil War became a more complicated thing because of that book. And I think that's what my teacher wanted. But anyway, he's fighting in the Civil War. He's gone for the years, and he's going back home. And now he's finding his original tribe. This is the tribe where this was the woman that he had the sweets for. And that's another reason his older brother, his adopted brother, liked her. Everybody liked her. And she's like, I'm married to him now, and the chief, he's like, we thought you were dead. We would have looked for you. He said you were dead. And he's like, well, he's a liar. So now he's like, I call in basically like a battle of honor. So they both have tomahawks and no other weapons, and now they're just fighting, battling it out. Who's the better son? Because I don't know if this is real. I don't know if this is made up. I don't know anything about this. Imagine this is a made up tribe too. So now they're fighting, and the chief's crummy son knew that this tomahawk was a piece of crap. So he made sure that Jonah got the piece of crap tomahawk, and the chief's son got the good. So now it breaks. Now they're fighting, and he doesn't have a weapon. So he's like, oh, he's gonna kill me, and my tomahawk is broken. And he even says it, ha ha ha, I made sure you got. So he knows that he's been set up. So he takes out a knife and kills him. And the chief is just like, I can't believe you did this. This was supposed to be a battle. We gave you the weapons, and you still took out a hidden weapon. And he's like, but he did this, and now he's pissed. So What's he do? They tie him up and they scar him. And that's the origin of the scar. And he's just like, get out of here. We're never going to see you again. You know, you bear this mark of shame. And then we got these cool posters. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Not posters, calendars. I can't even talk. We got this guy over here. He's dreamy. We've got Superman with Power Girl. JSA. I love this JSA. And now he's just, you know, his side lost in the Civil War. And his own people don't want him around anymore. You know, he's just truly an outcast. And now he looks like the way he looks. Nobody likes him. And here he is, you know, the chief captures him again. The little Dawn Feather, that I forget that's the name, but that's the girl that originally loved him. Now she's realizing that, like, everything's a piece of crap. And what happens? She gets killed aiding Jonah Hex. And he's just like, yep, you know, you killed my son. You broke out. Even though you're my adopted son, you killed my blood son. You violated the rules. And he's just like, oh, man, I can't catch a break. Even the woman he loves is dead. So there you go. He's just telling his story. And, you know, now we're back to the original story of people want Jonah Hex. In the story, he was framed for murder. Now, somebody, a master of disguise, made like a latex mask, a Jonah Hex mask, and killed people. And so now that person, how are you going to mistake Jonah Hex? It's perfect. You know, everybody described, the witnesses described Jonah Hex. So he's innocent. And nobody believes him. So now, like, people coming after him for bounties and everything. And, you know, the guy that captured him, he ended up saving the guy that captured him from an Indian attack, an Indian ambush. So he doesn't have dice or coins to flip, so he flips these marked bullets, and he decides to let him go free. So he's going free, and then they're fighting against more Indian attacks, and everybody's getting killed. You know, the guy who's gonna take him in ends up getting killed, and that can't be it. Did I go too fast? Yeah. And now he's just left with this woman. So now he's got to protect this woman who basically hates him. You'll never study French. I was just thinking it's funny when you leave it. You know, she hates him. She hates him because she believes that he's a murderer who's escaping justice, who killed people that she knew. So the poor guy can't catch a break. And now I'm just looking at the names. Charles D. Brown, he was a letter hack. David Dewitt. And here's some insider news from DC. Some ads. Look at that ads. And then models. Yes, models. The models were big in the 70s. Than these superhero watches. I'm enjoying these DC ads that I didn't get to see much as a kid. You know, because I was, you know, at this point I wasn't collecting any DC. So a lot of these ads I'm seeing for the first time when I'm reading these comics. I just read this comic for the first time like a week ago, because I'm reading Jonah Hex now. I get about 5 issues at a time. Read them, you know, enjoy them, absorb them, think about them, then get another 5 issues. Because if I bought the whole series at once, it would be a lot of money. So I kind of just space it out over the months. There's no rush. So there you go. That's Jonah Hex, the origin of the scar on his face. And I want to know, how is he going to get out of it? How is he going to prove to people that he didn't kill those people? Is he still wanted for the rest of the series? Is that the status quo? I don't know. I'm enjoying it, and I can't wait to find out. So thanks a lot. Tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. I'm going to have Mitch Breitweiser and S.N. Amadore from Allegiance Arts. We're going to talk about their comics, which were wonderful. And I'll see you tomorrow. Guys, thanks a lot, everybody. Enjoy this gorgeous, gorgeous weather. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.